it is still marriage that works. The ministry with the mandate to help put our marriages in God's perspective by teaching and encouraging values that will help transform our marriages from the necessary evil many consider it to be to what God intends for us. In this episode, I bring you a very uncomfortable truth about who you should give more attention to between your spouse and your children. This episode is mostly intended for the women folk, married women and mothers like myself. I'm going to hit the nail straight on the head. Loving your children more than your husband, or giving so much attention to your children to the neglect of your husband is very wrong and unhealthy for your marriage. Hey, I already warned you, it is an uncomfortable truth. Most women put their children first. You often hear such statements among women folk as, "My children are my world. My husband is important, but my children are more important," and so on. They are the ones who want to spend every available minute with their children. I can't blame any woman for that. I'm a woman too, and I know very well that natural instinct in the woman that makes every single bone in her yell at her that it is her job to look after her child as soon as the baby is born, and that the child needs the mother to love and protect him. For the man, on the other hand, the love of his wife is more important to him. Men generally, your husband not excluded, want their wives to put the marriage first, then the children second. So you both have conflicting priorities, and then we have the following scenario. You get pregnant, the husband is so delighted, pats you and kisses your tummy severally. The baby is born, and oh, what joy that comes with his arrival. The husband notices the drastic shift of your attention to the baby with his arrival and says to himself, "That's not a problem. Newborns need constant attention." As time goes by, it becomes obvious that having a child or even children has basically changed you, that the focus of your life has suddenly become your children and no longer him. When it was just the two of you, you used to cook his meal, you went out together and spent quality time with each other. But now, you no longer have the energy to cook or chat with him. You don't even see the point in dressing up for him anymore like you used to. 3 years or so into the marriage, he begins to tell you he finds your change frustrating, that he can't bear the fact that your life now revolves around the children. You, on the other hand, can't just fathom why a grown-up man will get angry about you devoting time and attention to his children. Things get worse with the passage of time between the both of you, but you justify your actions by the ideology of the school of thoughts that says it is wrong to put the marriage before the children. Putting your husband first is an outdated thing to do. Husbands are adults who can take care of their own needs, make their decisions, earn their own money, and even tie their own shoelaces. Marriage should take a back seat while the children are young. So what happens to the husband of the home? He is left to feel insignificant, disrespected, unloved, unappreciated, and lonely. Then sometimes, and unintentionally, he begins to get angry and resentful. Have I in any way said that this school of thought is wrong or condemned you for placing your children above your husband? Certainly not. Instead, my point is, rather than allow caring for those children to generate an attention conflict between you and your husband, why don't you just try help those children negotiate life? Listen to me. Marriage isn't a joke. It requires being painstaking. If you want your marriage to last you your lifetime, then you've got to treat it as a serious business, and you've got to put it first above every other thing. Putting your children first before your husband is a very sure way to create unrest in your marriage and to destroy it. Here are a few reasons why I believe that your children should not come before your spouse. Number one, let's quickly remind ourselves what the author of marriage instructed. He says, a man should leave his parents and cleave to his wife and become one flesh with her. To cleave means to cling to be loyal to become very strongly involved with or emotionally attached to someone. I particularly love that last definition because it explains that cleaving is just more than, it's more than just inserting a penis into a vagina, but a bonding that prefers the partner above all else. I therefore say, without judgment, that if you are not putting your husband first, then you are doing it wrong. Number two, a strong, healthy marriage is the healthiest thing you can give your children. When your children grow up seeing you and your spouse as a team who are so interested in each other, they feel safe and develop a correct perspective about marriage. They also understand what a loving and mutually respectful marriage looks like. That, I tell you, helps them to grow into well-balanced and emotionally secure adults in future. Number three, your children have only about 20 years or less to live with you, after which they go live their lives separately, leaving you and your spouse with each other. Now, if you have left your marriage at the backstage for those 20 years and are focused on your kids, don't you think your old age is going to be rather boring and frustrating if you have to now live it with a spouse that you have long lost touch with and have become strangers with? When you spend the early years of your marriage devoted to a passing phase, you will find it hard remembering at old age why you were married in the first place. Lastly, do you desire that your children get married to someone who would put them first? Then teach them what it looks like by putting your own husband first. I strongly believe that if more married women can give a self-orientation and begin to commit to putting their husbands first, a lot more marriages will go the distance and remain healthy rather than toxic and ending up being separated or divorced. It will be very unfair for me to end this video without lending a voice for the women too. after speaking so much in favor of the husband. Dear husband, do you know that your wife most times doesn't intentionally neglect you? Do you also know that her frequent claim of being tired isn't a lie just to avoid meeting your needs? It is indeed so tiring and exhausting for her to juggle caring for the kids, especially when they are young and so dependent, with chores and career or business. I always say that helping your wife is not in any way reducing you as a man. So quit that nonsense mentality and help ease her stress. When she's busy with the children, for example, you can go ahead and wash the dishes, do the cooking, or whatever thing she still has to do in the house at that time, and see if she will not have the strength to give you the attention you deserve. The point I'm trying to make in this video are this. Woman, don't put your children's interest above that of your husband. It is not healthy for your marriage. Husband, instead of getting angry that your wife has neglected you, find out what her challenges are and do everything possible to ease her stress. Then you will have the best of her. Till I come your way again, I encourage you to continue to strengthen the bond of your marriage union.